Well, I was not sure which pawn you were going to pick to start with, e4 or c4, but it kind of ended up c4. Well, it's difficult generally to prepare against opponents for different reasons. I know that Luke is not a real professional that much, so he doesn't have probably the time for every opening. Actually, I was kind of toying with the idea to play the King's Indian today. And it was solid g3, bishop g2. So now I went for the English. Actually, a good friend of mine, Marin, I was talking to him the night before, and he's an expert in the English, and he wrote a couple of books also. So he gave me the hint of this whole idea, what I played today. Castle, bishop b7. Well, here you went on thinking pretty long, kind of.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about various ideas, maybe going e3 and d4. Or possibly a3 and rook b1, but in the end I decided to play d3, and I wasn't exactly. I was wondering what setup you were going to choose, so I thought I'd keep my options open.
Yeah, so after d3 I went on. I was kind of happy with d3. And I went knight f6. Even if white will go d4, he will make it in 2 moves, which is not so useful anymore. Kind of bishop g5, I was surprised that you were provoking me playing h6.
Yeah, maybe it would have been better to play a3 and rook b1 in a normal fashion.
Yeah, and play for the b4 kind of setups. But actually my plan is to play d5 in any case.
Yeah.
So here I thought also to castle, but then I didn't like queen d2. And then the option of stopping me d5, playing d5, and also bishop h6.
Yeah.
I went h6, bishop d2, and but actually I didn't like castle at all. I thought you're going to go queen c1, king h7, and then already d5 will be not possible because takes, and knight g5 check. So I went d5. Well, if white takes on d5, I think it's just simply equal. Black is a great game. I have knight d4 later on. Usually these are the problems to play for black b6 and bishop b7, but I have it there. And somehow I don't see the drawback of not having castle yet. Well, queen c1, I think it was going to the wrong idea. That's how I felt. I think still white had to go c takes d5, takes, and then rook c1. And just play this kind of setup. Then a3.
Queen c1. You were being creative.
Yeah, maybe a bit too much. Yeah. Well, it's not a ridiculous idea.
And it's a logical idea after playing bishop g5, bishop d2,
yes,
provoking
yes.
h6.
Yes, certainly it would make little sense to have gone to have done that if I were going to do something else. But maybe it's a little bit suspicious.
Well, I was already thinking to play d4 at one point, even this point, but somehow I had the feeling that rook on c8 will be very well placed, especially if c takes d5 will happen, or one day I play knight d4. Yeah. When it opens up, it can be very useful.
I think it was a good move, yeah. Rook b1.
Well, I think still probably taking on d5 was somehow more logical to me, maybe.
Okay, shall we get to the critical moments?
Yeah, queen d7, d3. I think already a3 probably was. And now I went d4. I think it was a good decision after you made all these moves. Actually, I was expecting knight d1, and later on somehow trying to break out with e3. Mm-hmm. But I think kind of found better. Knight b5, h5 as I want to castle. Still maybe e3, no?
Yeah,
might or playing h4 and then e3, because this after b4 I grabbed.
Yeah, the problem was that I underestimated the strength of the knight coming to c3. I considered. Well, yes, I think it's. I thought I would have enough play against b6 that it wasn't terribly strong, but actually I don't have time to do that, and so I end up with a modern position kind of by force.
Well, here I had many options to play knight d5 immediately. I was also somehow calculating h4 a lot, but I didn't see how it wins. Did you see how it wins, or you didn't look at it at this point?
Well, we kind of joined the game when you already taken on f3, so we didn't look at this actually. Yeah, so actually knight
d5, or the other option was also to take on f3 first, and after ef3, knight d5. But I had a feeling after that c takes d5 would come from your side and somehow sag the queen as your previous game against Aronia. You never know what kind of ideas, savings come up. So I decided after knight d5, cd is not enough. I have my pair of bishop, and then after knight c3, it's really kind of killing this knight.
But yeah, it's funny. Sorry, when you took on f3 and we started looking at the position here when you took, and after h4 we were kind of saying, well, it's not so bad for white. Maybe we can take on b6 and just move the rook across, or even we were actually very surprised when you played g4.
But take on b6, I take on h3.
Yeah, I guess the question is, had either you foreseen some forcing variation?
Yeah,
was there something killing?
Queen h3.
So rook somewhere, I don't know.
Bishop h6 and bishop e3 is killing.
Yeah, we looked at this, and then
bishop e3 without queen h2 check, though, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe we only looked at that. I can't remember. So it's bishop e3 is just killing immediately. We looked at it in a slightly different position, and the other move was.
I didn't see it to a force win, but it looked absolutely terrifying.
That does look absolutely terrifying.
I could go rook a1 as the other possibility. Because that allows me to put the queen on e1.
Rook a1.
So rook takes b6, takes queen h3, and then rook a1 here. So to meet bishop h6 with queen e1.
Queen e1.
And then if you go bishop e3, I suppose I can. Well, I have to probably take it, but I mean.
So you rejected this on general principles.
It looked great.
It does look pretty scary.
Yeah.
There's a game.
I don't know. I might just go queen h2
mated and something like this.
Famous one, Okay, so
actually, I was looking h3 without taking on f3, h4, because that also looked very promising at this point. h4 takes here. Actually, it was hard for. There are no counter chances, that's the biggest problem. Later on also, actually, through this diagonal, later on it was...
we just need to put this knight on a3 on d5 or something.
Maybe I should have gone knight b1. That was the other thing.
Instead of knight c2.
Knight b1, and then after rook c5, just to exchange the knight.
Yeah, and queen c2. Well, probably it's better chance, in principle. But I will put somehow pawn on b4, maybe I go queen d6 or something here.
So knight b1, rook c5, and then knight takes c3.
No, but I might go queen d6 and try to go b4. But definitely it was better.
But still, if I take, pawn takes, queen c2, b4, and then rook b1. b8, and then if I do something like
on e3 you have to go and
maybe
b4.
e3, although
because sometimes I would have queen f4 and bishop e5.
Yes.
So it's Well, definitely, actually, I think it was a better chance.
But you go e5?
I might go
yeah?
even f5 sometimes. Yeah.
E5, I think.
Yeah, I can go e5. Well, yeah. Well, it's not fun to play for one.
It looks.
But actually with the rooks it's even worse because many times it's the long diagonal.
Yeah, maybe
And then bishop
it was
h6.
better, but
I mean, I had my plans of queen d6, e6, bishop d8, and bishop c7.
yeah, that was what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
my c3 knight is
I couldn't see anything at all I could do about it. So. I thought about going bishop e4, but
Yeah.
I mean, knight takes e4 and rook c2 looks simply terrible.
Yeah, but actually here I would go bishop c1 first
Maybe that's even
instead of
stronger, yeah.
yeah, bishop c1. No, instead of knight e4. Here.
Oh, bishop c1 here. Oh.
Very nice. Sorry, why is it over?
It's not over? Well, queen a1 is the only move, but then I can take on e2 to start with.
And sorry,
Rook
takes.
c1, knight e2,
Maybe it's wrong.
king h2.
Queen d6.
Or rook c2 first.
Or rooks, which one? I don't know. Rook c2.
I think rook c2 first, and it's over. Rook c2 and queen d6.
Sorry, king h2, rook here, and
Or maybe knight e1 was possible. Queen d6 over.
queen d6, killer.
Well,
Queen f4?
queen f4. Takes and knight g2.
Rook f2, knight g2, and then rook f1. Oh,
No,
no.
knight h4 still.
So you
But I can go
Oh.
g4. No.
d5.
Well, take on b5, then f6.
with a threat.
That's funny, yeah.
It's kind of run out of squares.
Rook f5, rook d2.
Yeah, rook a2. Not rook a2,
Rook
b2.
d2 or b2, yeah.
Could we have a very quick look at it? Actually, we didn't see what happened in the game. So here,
Yeah, king h1, queen d6. Well, this, yeah, it was already tactical
rook a3
blunder.
was a blunder,
Because
but
rook c1 is coming.
I didn't see
Oh, I
anything
see.
at all.
Yeah,
About,
Okay.
yeah.
okay. So let's just. All right. So now it's just the exchange and
Yeah, and
And
I
the knight's
grabbed the
dropping
knight.
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. One round to go. Let's see. Who have you got tomorrow?
I'm playing with
Aronian.
Aronian, with white.
With white. Luke, who do you have? You've got.
Nakamura.
You've got Hikaru.
They're both fighting still, no?
Yeah.
I think they're still playing. I don't know. Can we get the? Can we have a quick look at the position?
Maybe
of
we
the
could
games?
get some predictions or
Yeah.
judgments from. We should be able to see them on the screen.
Here we
soon.
go. Fantastic. So we've got. Mickey looks like he's a pawn up.
Yeah,
That's good.
It's
But
looking good
he's
for
for
Mickey.
some
It's
time
looking
already.
very good. Yeah.
And he has a c3 bishop, not a knight.
And Kramnik still looks like he's making very good progress. And Vichy,
But Mickey will win, no? Queen e4.
let's just have a quick look at Anand Nakamura, which very, very exciting game. Vichy was in full hustle mode.
Exciting, forcing chess. Every move, Vichy just playing very quickly.
So we left
Played
it.
quickly?
Vichy did. He went into hustle mode. So we left it round about here, and that's the position on the board. Quite sharp.
Difficult for black.
Difficult for black. Yeah.
So what? So is white threatening just
Push all the
h5,
pawns,
h6,
yeah.
h7?
Yeah.
Simple
Bit
chess.
easier for white to win than black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, black should go back knight d7, no?
Yeah, we should note that bishop d6 would be a good move, but it's...
If it wouldn't be
it's
legal.
painless. Sorry, knight d7 you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, are your first instincts that black has some drawing chances, or
Exactly.
okay?
Black has some drawing
I guess
chances.
the rook a8, b4 is maybe critical because then rook takes a6, b3, and there's no immediate way to attack the pawn.
Well, this saves black.
Huh? There.
This saves black.
Maybe.
Okay, so after
Knight c5, rook b8 is the
So
position.
knight d7 if we play rook here,
Then maybe
Knight
knight back
c5.
to c5.
and then
Rook b6.
rook
Then
b6.
rook b6, but then the bishop's free.
Well, relatively free.
Then bishop d6 check is even possible.
Oh,
Yeah, king g4.
king g4.
Well, it's hard for black.
It's a hell of a lot easier than to play for white, but okay,
Yeah.
still interesting. Right, well, Judit and Luke, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And good luck in your remaining game.